The passion came from purpose because without purpose, I wouldn't be passionate about it.
On this episode of Women Who Hustle, we sit down with award-winning broadcast journalist Ancillar Nombewu. She unpacks her purpose, passion, and lessons learned on her journey to finding her voice. This is her story.
What drives you? What has brought you? Just unpack for us your journey. What has brought you to become where you are now?
That's such a loaded question, Farai. What made me the woman I am? It's insane. I really am who I am because of God. And
Right.
I don't even think I know one of the reasons I'm able to be here now is knowing that I am because He is. He to me being God. I
Yes.
am because He is. I'm open to criticism and understanding my flaws and seeing where I need to have work done and need to improve. So I don't sit there
Mhm.
and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm a multi-award winning journalist. Oh my goodness, I've got
Right.
over a dozen awards. It doesn't matter. Those are things from yesterday. What's happening tomorrow? You are as good as your last story. After it goes to press,
Mhm.
that's old
Mhm.
news. You're as good as your last story. So
Mhm.
I am
Mhm.
because I know He is. I know that I'm not it all. There is always work that needs to be done. And most
Mhm.
importantly,
Mhm.
I know I can't do it on my own. If entrepreneurship has
Right.
taught me anything, you're nothing without your team. You're nothing without a good support structure within
Mhm.
your vision and the goal of your life.
You come across as a very resilient person. I mean, there's no way you would have gotten to this place if you were not resilient. And talk to us about a little bit about that. And what would you kind of want to say, because I know that you're very passionate about young people, young women. What sort of lessons along the way, and maybe even how you got over, would you like to talk about from that perspective?
Mm. Resilience and lessons. I listen. I'm a Virgo, and as Virgos will have you, we are stubborn. We are hardworking. We are type A personalities. And I think I tick not all, but most of those boxes within what a Virgo is. But I've also gotten to learn that it comes with so many downfalls as well.
Mhm.
Because you're
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
type A, you'll want to do everything yourself and check so many things yourself. And then it's like,
Mhm.
oh, you're so resilient to you sleep 4 hours a day. There was a time in my life where I'll get joy, like, today I worked 20 hours. Oh, today I did 19 hours. And I'll sit
Mhm.
there and say, I don't do no less than 94-hour work weeks. I still don't, but at least now I'm
Mhm.
aware of it. Um, so the resilience, I
Mhm.
know that I've got the ability to endure pain. That's where my
Right.
resilience comes from.
Right.
I can endure mental
Mhm.
mental pain. I enjoy
Mhm.
thinking. I enjoy being disruptive. So even if
Mhm.
you put
Mhm.
me on a chair and I have to work for straight 24 hours, I can do that because I believe I naturally have an endurance of pain and mental pain in that. I'll give you an example. I would my editor, what year was it? Was it 2017 or 2016? Between 2016 and 2017 there was a lot of movements happening in Zim with Mugabe and protesters, etc., on the road. And I was the only Zimbabwean in the newsroom at Forbes at the time. And something would happen, and I'll call my editor. I'll be like, no, I'm already on the road in a car driving to go home because I can't fly. I want to know what's happening I want to see the border and see the impact of the border so I can tell the story. I'll drive by myself all the way from Johannesburg, all the way to Harare, do the marches, whatever that needs to happen, drive back by myself to Joburg. Before I even come home, I go straight to the office. I sit and write my 3,000 word article, whatever it is, because it will be going to print. So when I say I've got an endurance for pain, that's what I mean. On your own, solo in the car, two-way drive. That could be like a 4, 5 day exercise that I'm doing on my own. And then I go and write and make sure that my story goes to print and it goes well. So I think I naturally have that. And my other resilience comes from knowing that I can do more. I was born to be more than just exist. I was born to give so much more to the world and to the universe than just be here.
So I would say that you are resilient for a purpose, right? There's a reason you are this person, especially just looking at how you've used your voice to advocate for girls, for girls' education and your passion for women in Africa. Where did this passion for women, for especially young girls, come from?
The passion came from purpose because without purpose, I wouldn't be passionate about it. So it's always so fascinating for me. Even the story I just told you about how I drive to Harare on my own, I didn't feel it. And other people were like, how can you do it? Oh my goodness. I'm like, what do you mean? That was so dope. That was so fun. What are you talking about? So if you are working in your purpose, you don't feel the pain. And even when you do feel the pain,
Yes.
it's pain that you enjoy to have and understand to have, and pain that you can live with because it's so aligned to your purpose and who you are and who you're supposed to be. So every single thing that I've done has been God driven, from me being a journalist, God driven, me being an entrepreneur in the types of businesses that I've started, God driven. I am the founder of Ralinka Media. It's a PR and marketing agency. And the sole purpose for that business is aligned to my purpose as a person, because I can never be involved in a business that doesn't speak to why I'm here, because I'm spending so much time doing that. Ralinka Media, it's literally our slogan is the meaning of my name, Ancillar, an aid to achieving. So Ralinka Media is about being an aid to achieving. We help small businesses, small brands become bigger and grow to become multi conglomerates that they want to be. And that's part of my purpose. I know that I'm an aid that helps other people achieve so much more than they think they can. And I'm about to launch a new business called Fresh Genie, which is all about food. I think that one of the main reasons we've got so much mental health issues and depression and anxiety is just because of our lifestyle, what we eat, and the things that we put on our bodies. And so when so that's the reason why I started Fresh Genie, because it goes back to my purpose. I'm there to help people achieve. And if the major thing that's making us not achieve is depression and anxiety, which are valid, we need to find the sources of the depression and anxiety so that we're able to solve, so that we're able to help people achieve. We don't have enough African voices talking about entrepreneurship or even purpose that you're in. One of the downfalls that I have that I'm trying to work on is I'm trying to do so much on my own that I end up working 95 hours a week. Yet I've got a team and I should be like delegating more and.
You very committed to the changing the narrative of the African continent, Africans as people. Just talk to us, just to touch a little bit on some of that work.
Yeah. So I believe that the way in which we can achieve as a continent is through entrepreneurship. I'm a really huge believer of that. I think my work as a financial journalist who talks to so many great entrepreneurs around the world has helped me realize that, because I see the potential that's there. And every time I kick myself in the foot where I have to talk to somebody from another continent doing so well in Africa. I'm like, but why are we not doing that? Why is it that people within our continent are solving those problems that we have? So that's very, very key for me. And I think entrepreneurship is the way to go. But before we even say to people, be an entrepreneur, we need to also understand the limitations that um, young people especially would have on the continent in trying to be entrepreneurs. Funding is one of the major things. So I tried the best that I can through my network and my platforms to understand where the funding opportunities are, where people can get funding, try and educate people on how to get funding. But more than funding itself, it's understanding the problems that we have as Africans, because somebody who is sitting in Miami and they started business doesn't have the same responsibilities as I have. I've got black tax, so many limitations that we even have. So the way in which I even do business becomes different from the way you could do business. So we don't have enough African voices talking about entrepreneurship or even purpose that you're in, who are based here and who understand our reality. So it's key and so important for us to start talking to people who are as great and even better, who are African, in telling our own stories. Not enough of us have platforms that allow for that to happen. So that's very key for us to understand that we're different, and our differences make us unique, make us understand our problems even better. I mean, already this year, there's been $1.2 billion that has been invested on the continent. But most of it is not even to companies that were started by black people on the continent, who are from the continent. You find somebody from Germany or the US, whatever, seeing the problem and they're doing stuff. And so we need to start making an impact ourselves and solving our own problems so we can get access to the funding, because the funding is there, it's just waiting for us. And we need to have enough platforms that educate us about how to get that funding.
What African voice right now, young, old, whatever, do you believe that we should be listening to?
Iyinoluwa Aboyeji. He
Mm-hmm.
was the founder of Andela. He founded Flutterwave. I mean, Flutterwave was the
Aha.
fastest growing payment
Great.
platform that we had, technology platform that we had in the world, not even just on the
World, yes.
continent. They
Mm-hmm.
were processing over $2 billion of payments a day. He was born
Mm.
in 1991. He's just 30 years old.
Right.
He's very active on Twitter. Um, and his insight is very always amazing. He's always
Mm-hmm.
open to sharing how he did it, how he started, where he got the funding, how he went about getting the funding, the
Mm-hmm.
mistakes, his lessons, the
Mm-hmm.
challenges, etc. So it's
Mm-hmm.
an incredible voice on that regard. I
Yeah.
also really like Vusi Tembekwayo, because I know a lot of people don't like him, but for me, he really invokes things that are really thought provoking. So even he
Exactly.
takes you to
Yeah.
places that you wouldn't have gone to before, and you
Mm-hmm.
start seeing things in a different light. Or even if you don't, most of the time I don't even agree with him, but then he takes my mind to a place it wouldn't have gone to.
One of the last questions I want to ask you is, it might be a tough one, but you can answer it or you may not answer it. But it's a challenge, I guess, right? What question?
Yeah. Let's
Yes,
hear it.
I know you love challenges, right? So, what question do you never get asked but would love
Yeah.
to answer?
It'll have to be something that is going through in my through my life right now, in my journey and the things that I'm learning,
Mhm.
it would be, give me a moment.
I know
I'm
it is
shortlisting. I've got a few. I'm shortlisting. Um,
it is a deep one. Remember we spoke about going deep, right? So,
mhm,
let's go
mhm.
there. Let's go deep.
It will be a question. I'm trying to phrase it,
Mhm.
but it will be a question around how, or rather, the importance of, it's
Mhm.
around relationships and being able to balance your purpose with an ounce of, I hope you guys are able to put a D on this, of
That's
um,
necessary. I'm just talking. She will edit this out.
because I think that's been one of my big challenges. I remember earlier in the year saying to my friends, you know what? I am praying so hard and I'm trying to learn how to be a little bit of a, because my
Mhm.
niceness is always coming and hurting me, because like my spirit and my giving and all of that is always overflowing to an extent that it hurts me, not only just me, my business and my relationships, my husband, my family, and then it ends up like trickling down. So I think that's one of the main questions. That's something somebody has never asked me, and I wouldn't have known how to answer that before then. But it's something that just dawned on me now, being able to still live in the
Mhm.
purpose that I am in, which is the aid to achieve and be a helper to people. But how do you help with a good ounce of to make sure that you're still protected in your helping yourself? I will be an exceptional entrepreneur. I know that. Everything will be around being happy and being authentically me. One of the downfalls that I have that I'm trying to work on is I'm trying to do so much on my own that I end up working 95 hours a week. Yet I've got a team and I should be like delegating more and. But because type A personality, you've got those things, oh, I don't know. And then, okay, maybe let me take this. Let me take that. Let me take,
Mhm.
you
Leverage.
know? So does that make you a badass? To some people, you might be a badass because you can work
Yeah.
so hard and slay. But are you a
Mm.
badass? You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So, so I think it's more rather it will be a question about how you balance purpose, passion, and being result oriented without emotion.
Lavia Jai Jones, and she has this book called The Professional Troublemaker, because those are exactly the elements that she talks about, where being on that edge, being edgy without being a bee, like you spoke, but really coming to the party and being who you are unapologetically, um, without having to be nice, so to speak, and to achieve your impact and to achieve your goal.
You know, I'm a huge fan of Chef Ramsay. My husband and I will watch it, and he'll be like, "How can people stand somebody saying F you and banging the plates and all of that in the kitchen when we're watching Hell's Kitchen, for example?" And I say to him, because the restaurants that he makes them head chef at, they see over 1,000 people a day. It's a high pressure environment that requires somebody to be able to handle that. So if you can't even handle him saying F you on a dinner night where you have 100 guests, how are you going to manage 1,000 people a day? So that's why he puts all of that pressure so that he can get the best people who can endure and handle the intense pressure that is required for that specific role. So the talent acquisition process in itself needs to test people on what the job itself requires them to do. This is a big mistake that I made as an entrepreneur when I was starting, because I was just employing really a lot around emotion and how people need it and how I believe that they can do it. but to what benefit for the business or whatever project that you're trying to do.
Just going forward. I mean, I loved our conversation, and I can't wait to see, what you're going to do with this new Ancillar that you have discovered, and obviously there's more pieces of you that you still have to dig deep to find as you go through the years, right? But for now, I'm just excited to see what you're going to do. So going forward, what's new, and what are you planning for this? What's the plan for this trailblazer? What's the plan?
I want to be happy.
Ah,
Um, when I used to get asked the question of what impact do you want to make in the world or what's next, I always used to quote Beyonce's song "I Was Here." Love that song. I don't know how many times a day I listen to it. It's so inspirational to me. But now my whole answer is I want to be happy, because if I'm able to get to a true space of happiness,
mm,
it would mean that number one, I can breathe truly.
mm, mm,
Number two, it would mean that I am living truthfully and authentically in my
yes.
purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm doing that, it means that I will leave the impact in the world that I was meant to leave, which is my I was here.
Amen.
So it's not ending only
Amen.
on I was here. I just want to be happy. And every single thing I was meant to do and the impact I was meant to leave on the world will happen just because I'm happy. So that's all I'm chasing. I'm chasing happiness and joy. And I'm so happy because even now I'm in such a deep state of happiness because of being more intentional and even just being aware, uh, and being through this journey of so much awakening and enlightenment that I was able to see and be able to be in that. So for the past couple of months, I've been really living in so much happiness. So that's all I'm chasing. Every single day, I wake up chasing happiness, which will then filter down to all the things that I'm meant to do. I will be an exceptional entrepreneur. I know that. Gonna open so many businesses. We've got Fresh Genie that's opening in a couple of weeks, which is a food e-commerce business, which I'm excited about. There's so many things I want to do, from fashion to construction to
Mm-hmm.
manufacturing, so many things that I want to do, but everything
Mm-hmm.
will be around being happy and being authentically me.
I love that. For me, so simple and yet so profound. I mean, what more can anyone ask for except for happiness? I am just super, super changed by this conversation, and I just loved your take on life and your take on things, and the fact that we have so many similarities in terms of our journeys of life. Although I might be in a totally different path from you, but the similarities are there, and I believe that whoever else is going to be listening to this, someone is going to resonate with your story. So thank you so much for your time. As I said at the beginning, we do not take it lightly, and yeah, we wish you all the best with everything.
My absolute pleasure.